I'm going to give you my honest opinion on who the best coin dealer is, and I'm sure there's other coin dealers out there that are just as good as this place. I've been dealing with them for years. It's not the only people I dealt with, but one thing that came up recently that I'll tell you what it is in a minute here, that put the light bulb on that, yeah, they're really honest people. So, and they're located right here in Florida, too. Now, before I get on with that, I'm going to tell you again that this depiction right here showing the motorcycle with these acrobatic riders, this is exactly what's going on with the economy, and I don't think they got all their stuff together. I'm going to give you a couple of different things that's going to shed light on, like what this girl here is with the trike is doing, the situation in very simple terms. But before we do that, I'm also going to tell you that one of the biggest problems we're going to have after the economic implosion, which I think is coming up, it's just a matter of time, because if you look at the U.S. debt clock at usdebt.org, it's just a matter of time before we have this economic implosion. Now, I'm showing here a tax on tea. You know, they'll have a tax on anything as long as they get their money, because it's been established in the past that even during the Great Depression, this is when the taxes started on sales taxes started in the individual states in the 1930s. In 1930s, during the Great Depression, because the states were going under, that's when 26 states started putting sales taxes on, and it wasn't until 1932 that they put a tax on gasoline, which they already had prohibition of manufacture of alcohol, for which includes cars, so they had you stuck even with this tax on gasoline to save the federal government. So nobody's got this spirit anymore, and it's kind of like we're caught in Alice of Wonderland with a lot of BS politicians telling us a lot of garbage. Now, I'm going to tell you that in the world of bullion dealers, you got to watch, because it's almost like vampires. You know, it's like they put on the pretty smiling face, and they always tell you they got the best deal. And, you know, I can't guarantee you, because I looked on the internet and I saw varying reviews on this place. It's GainesvilleCoins.com, and I just want to say that I've been dealing with them for years. I haven't had any problems, but the one thing that actually put me over now, I realize they must be really damn honest, is I made a really stupid error. I was at the CPA firm real late at night, and I grabbed what I thought was 4 ounces of palladium out of the safe. Now, I did take a copy of it, but I didn't look at the copy, which was stupid. I did take a copy of what I took, because I wanted to have the serial numbers for when I mailed it in. Well, it turned out it wasn't palladium, it was platinum. It was and I did this after work, and I was there all day, and it was really late, and I was really tired. And it's the same pamp ounces, and I don't know what the hell. I don't even know how I did this. And then I wrapped them up when I got home at, I don't know, wee hours in the morning. Then I mailed them out the next day. Well, they could have ripped me off. They could have said they got palladium, and not paid me for platinum, but then they discovered it and they told me about it. So, that's a mark of integrity that is beyond what I would expect from a lot of other people. So, I figured I'd mention that here. That was an honest, dumb thing I did, but you can do dumb things when you're really, really tired, and that's one reason not to work too late, or if you work late, that you start doing the simpler things when you're really late at night. And I swear to God, I didn't think I grabbed the wrong shit. I was kicking myself for doing that, but I did. But anyway, today, one of the biggest problems we got is excess government, and nobody's really ready to fight back like back in the colonists. Now, I'm going to tell you, yeah, it's ruling by the elite and all this garbage, but I'm going to tell you what the real deal is with the economy and the money supply. Because I swear to God, I don't understand why these people just don't tell you. Or I don't know, maybe they just can't see it. It's so simple. And it's not that I'm bragging. Well, maybe there is something about me that I do see some complicated things, and I can break them down into what the meat of the problem is. I've always been noted for that, and that's really been one of my strengths of a couple other things. But the deal is, they're pumping more and more money into the economy, right? You can see the money supply is at record heights. Now, it's not stimulating the economy, and some people have observed that it's going into the quote unquote too bigs to fail. Now, say this is a representation of the too bigs to fail. It's not really telling you what the real problem is by them saying that, because really what it's going into is the non-producers. If you put a whole pile of money into a bunch of people that did nothing, whether they're elitist or they're poor people, it doesn't matter. Like that's the flip side of rewarding people with welfare that don't really need it, right? That's just as bad as pumping money into the elite. The more money you pump into lazy slouches, the less they do. So the other observation they made about the money supply is, okay, it's at record levels, but the velocity of money is at record lows. Well, the velocity of money is at record lows because the too bigs to fail are just sitting on it. And that's why when they do make any kind of expenditures, it's usually in these investment class assets, and there's been inflation in investment class assets versus consumer price inflation, because the too bigs to fail are small in numbers, and they're not going to buy gasoline, food, and clothing like if all that money went out to tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people. That would cause consumer price inflation. What they got is investor class asset price inflation. The velocity of money is very, very low because it's going into the hands of people that don't produce. And I guess if it would be better if it went into, if they gave it to, if you're a conservative out there, you probably get pissed off at me for saying this, but the economy would actually be much, much, much better stimulated if they gave it to every single slough out there, whether male or female, that did not have a job, and he just gave them $100,000, the economy would be greatly, astronomically more stimulated than what the elitist going into the hands of the elitists. Why? Because even though the sloughs wouldn't do anything, they'd spend their money with people that do something on products and services, and it would get out to the economy real quick. So that's the reality situation. So the next time things come down, the government's going to try to put the hammer down and keep the aristocracy in power still. Now, I don't want to brag here or nothing, and I'm not telling you a fable, but I really did dig into this story that's been generations old in my family, that my great-grandfather was the illegitimate son of Duke Albert Edward when he was a young man in his 20s, before he became Edward VII. But he never got nothing out of it, not because he was illegitimate, but because he was Roman Catholic and half Italian. So hang that crap up, But I actually am related to this deal, but that don't mean nothing. But there's one part of it that I think does mean something, is that I've always noticed I've had a gravity to getting along with some of the most predatory type business people going. And there's been people before me in my family that have also. It doesn't seem to, exhibit itself in every member of the family, but it has exhibited itself with me. And I'm doing this YouTube stuff for fun. But when I'm telling you stuff in plain common language, it's far more probably beneficial to you than you're getting out of the people with the $500 words. Because I can tell you right now, the professionals are good at putting out a professional sounding spiel with $500 words so they can charge astronomical fees, but they don't necessarily give you what you bargained for. Now, another thing that's coming up, I think, with the Illuminati plan, besides economic collapse, they're probably going to start World War III with this guy. Well, North Korea. I know North Korea is evil, okay? I'm not saying that they're saints, because I know sometimes the old alternative media say they're like puppy dogs. They're like, get out of here. But they don't have the capability of messing with us, and they don't want to. If they be high on crack to mess with us, because they know that would be their utter destruction. So the New World Order is trying to make them into this big threat, which they would be if they had the power, but they don't. But that's probably going to be something where they could set up World War III when the economy starts crashing. Use that as, a a rationale for why the economy's crashing and the dollar's crashing or whatever else is going on, or maybe a way to save the dollar. I'm not sure, but either way, they got all kinds of plans. But remember that staying on focused and staying on the horse in the right direction is really what your main goal is. It's been a long road with this silver, and we got the silver motorcycle here with the silver gas tank. It's like old girl, she's sticking with it, right? And you're not going to get off the ride until the ride's over with. And then you're still going to keep the ride anyway, You're not going to sell the entire ride, because there's one thing about silver that shines better than any other metal out there is this. It's got medicinal properties. And you can't say that about gold, platinum, or palladium. I know maybe you could say that a little bit about colloidal gold and the brain power and all that kind of stuff. But really, silver and the medicinal properties, it's amazing. If Big Pharma had a financial interest in freaking pushing silver in the medical industry, which they can't, they really don't, because it would probably put the rest of their products out of business. Oh, it would be, thousands of dollars an ounce probably, because they'd have to get prescriptions for it, and everybody be taking it it would be in every single bandage out there. It would be in every single antimicrobial soap. It would be in all our clothings in a thread as antibacterial, which they already do, but it's not widely marketed the way it could be, because it would put a lot of products out of business. It would put in antiperspirants, deodorizers, home cleaners for your kitchen and your bathroom, and also it would be even for stem cell regeneration, which is ionic silver is very good for producing stem cells to reduce scarring, and rejuvenate skin with, glutathione and vitamin C and vitamin E cream and stuff. A little bit of colloidal nano silver in there. Keep you young forever, man. But the devil guys are out there trying to play their game with their hideous products, and most of the products they put out there in the market, I think, are designed to depopulate people. It's like they're actually pumping in poison with marketing. And that's another thing. It's not even just all about money. They're pumping in poisons with marketing. I mean, there's been so many different products over the years that have been so bad for people. It's amazing that back in the 1800s, the settlers knew that if you threw a silver dollar in a well, or you threw it in a 55 or whatever, a barrel of water, it would keep the water fresher much longer. Or if you had a silver pail that you used to milk the cows with, and the milk would stay fresher much for many hours because of the silver pail. It's amazing how this got lost. What, marketing? It goes to show you advertising works. I mean, that's what's fueling YouTube, but I don't think, well, who the hell knows? Maybe there'll be a silver advertisement on here, but I'm actually telling you about Gainesville coins. And I don't want to really blatantly tell you definitely, but because I only know my experience. I mean, I haven't gone around taking a survey of thousands of people or something like that. I know I've had no problems buying and selling. The transactions were smooth. And the one thing that put me over, I do tell people once in a while about them, but the one thing that put me over recently was my dumb error about grabbing platinum instead of palladium real late at night. And they caught the error. And I says, first I was going to say, what do you mean? I gave you platinum? No way I would have done that. But then I looked up the copy and I says, holy shit, I did. And I said, I even took a copy of it. And I says, my God. I says, how the hell it was, when you're freaking half asleep, crap happens, right? So, anyway, that kind of really pissed me off. And that's why I didn't really want to put this video out, because I really made a really stupid error that you wouldn't think I would make. But, that's what happens. And that's what happens when you don't have a second set of eyes looking at something. Sometimes you're doing all this stuff and you miss something. I just couldn't. I'm kicking myself for doing that. And I really didn't want to put out this video, but I did want to say that they caught it. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I would have caught that eventually when I looked at the copy I took, which I didn't look at because I was so busy just getting the shit stuff out. See, I figured palladium is going to go. I really didn't want to sell the platinum because I thought it was too depressed. But I figured the palladium is going to get hit when the markets come down. and then it's going to go way to hell back up after tensions with Russia go real high again. Um, I'm not sure it is, but well, I could say this: if the markets go down like real bad correction, palladium's going to get hit real bad, and platinum. So gold might go way to hell up because gold is actually an inverse relationship with um, the markets, and gold, silver has somewhat of an attachment to both the industry side and also gold. So you really don't know which way it's going to go, but everything will rebound. And I was thinking is maybe I should dump this palladium before the markets come down, some of it, and then buy it back. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right, but that might be the deal. Anyway, but just like they're trying to control us, we all going to be riding free, and as long as we got our metals, and not only do we have our metals, but we got to have everything else in place. Growing gardens is important. Having food supplies is important. Having electrical generators is important. Like I got a diesel generator and a gas generator, and all that other wonderful stuff you've probably seen. I mean, I got 5,000 videos on here and all kinds of stuff. Some people are complaining I've been putting out too many cat videos. Well, I throw those in there to, I don't know, I like doing them, but I also do them for other reasons because the more mixed up my channel is, YouTube can't freaking say I'm a this channel or that channel. It's like an everything channel. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the gig people that are one, because sometimes I'll drop dimes in some videos, but if they're all intermingled in with all the other stuff, they're not. It's not a, there's a method to the madness of what I put out here. You understand it? You know what I mean? I'm trying to outslick the slicksters here. So anyway, just want to remind you that probably silver's still a good buy, but it's like it's going to take. You know what happens with this damn metal? If you look back historically, it gets all its gains at the end. And it's not even a straight line up. It's erratic. That's the deal. That's the other thing I got to keep saying. It just sits there, and maybe it could double over a few years, but when it really goes hyperbolic, it doesn't last that long, and you don't know how long the hyperbolic is going to go because it usually goes hyperbolic, and then it corrects 50%, then it goes hyperbolic again. Like the last time, I thought silver was going to go through 50. I didn't know about this $500 stuff. It was like crazy, I think, and these people are saying that. But I figured it was going to go through 50, when it was going up. I didn't think it was going to go to 100. I thought maybe 65, 70 bucks. But a lot of people thought that. On the way down, I thought it was going to go solidly below 26, maybe to 24 to 22. I didn't think it was going to go to like 1465 or whatever hell it went to. I thought that was nuts. I thought 18 would have been a real bottom. But then on the other side, when it goes back up, who the hell knows what it's going to do? But the other side of it is this: if you still wind up holding a bag with some silver, you got something that has medicinal properties, unlike all the other metals. I mean, even in a 3.9 silver, you can make colloidal silver and nano silver out of 3.9 silver versus 4.9s because the pure impurities, even in double distilled water, are greater than the impurities in that the difference between 3.9s and 4.9 silver when you're talking about 8 parts per million or 10 parts per million when you're figuring a factor. So if you're taking 8 parts or 10 parts per million of 3.9s versus 4.9s of silver, you're taking a 10,000th of 10 parts per million more impurities into the water, which the double distilled water isn't even that pure. So you can make, even with the 3.9s. 4.9s is better, like the Canadian maple leafs and stuff, but you can do it with all of them. So, you really can't lose because it's not just an investment. It's like a permanent antibacterial. Ionic silver is a stem cell producer. When you put it on, you keep gauze pads wet with ionic silver, like the stuff you make with the batteries is a combination of ionic and colloidal. That's really what it is. It's not one or the other. It's a mixture. When you keep that, that cheap homemade colloidal ionic silver you make, if you keep a gauze pad wet over a cut that might have a scar, that scar is going to be much less because the ionic silver is actually causing the body to generate stem cells right in the area where the wound is. Plus, you drink it, it kills off the bad bioflora, which is your place where disease mainly starts, and it doesn't affect the good bioflora. So, and it is an essential element to the body. And you really can't say that with any other precious metals. You could probably say that with copper a little bit. Copper is essential, but it's not, it's pretty plentiful. I mean, you go down to Lowe's department store and buy freaking copper wire left and right, and it's 100% pure, right? I mean, it's not like really difficult to get, unlike silver, right? So, anyway, and I also want to recommend, if you're buying coins, and as people ask me this stuff, I personally, I like all this stuff, really, but probably your safest bet is the governmental bullion, but I don't have all that stuff either. Is the governmental bullion. I also like the buffaloes with the Indian heads. I just like the way they look, and I'd probably get some Confederate rebel bullion too if they ever come out with that stuff again. I like those. I mean, just get what the hell you like, but it's good to have also government stuff, because anything issued, especially like the American Eagles and the Canadian Maple Leafs, are good because of the 4 nines and the Austrian Philharmonicas, the Euro types. There's but as long as you're not paying too much over spot. And I have not only bought from Gainesville Coins, but I just want to tell you that I'm trusting him a hell of a lot more now with my recent experience, and no problem selling to him or nothing. And me making a really, really dumb error like that has shown me that these guys are, well, if you did that with a small place, I don't know if they would do that. They'd probably say, okay, you gave me Palladium, thanks. Okay. You know what I mean? They might have done that if it was a small guy. I don't know. But that shows me a lot of integrity on their part. So, anyway, for whatever it's worth. So, but, I don't know what your experience is going to be, because I didn't take, like I said, I didn't take a survey of thousands of people and all their experiences. I'm only telling you what my experience is, and they're not paying me to tell you this crap. I'm already, I might buy back the Palladium later if it crashes. That's what I'm planning on doing, but I'm not hooked in with them at all, not in the least. If you want to believe that or not believe it, fine. But I can tell you, I don't work for Bullion. I work for a CPA firm. Besides this, and there's a boutique investment house attached with it, but they don't have anything to do with physical metals. They have they have physical metals like Sprott, like that kind of garbage. They don't sell bullion. And I've been telling clients about Gainesville sometimes, but they're not telling me to go tell them. I don't have any relationship between. It's like you got to do things 100% honest, or else it bites you in the ass. That's the way I am. I'm just telling you. If you don't want to believe me, you don't believe me. Fine, but it's just the way it is. Because I don't, I think Amex is good too. I think Amex is probably. I never dealt with them, but I think they're good. But it's like I've gotten to the point where I trust Gainesville right now. So that's just got to tell you my experience. Because I looked online, I saw there's a couple people didn't like what would happen. I think it had to do with their they made a deal and they didn't do the wire in time or some shit, or because they didn't get an email or whatever the hell. I don't know what the hell happened. Like crazy circumstances, and they wind up getting charged for something, which I don't know. I don't like if you make a buy agreement, you got so much time to get the money there, so you do a wire. That's the easy way. You don't do a credit card, because credit cards cost you more money to deal with bullion dealers. So anyway, that's my spiel. And do remember that I can't believe that all these analysts out there that can't figure out, well, they're trying to stimulate the economy and they got the money supplies at record heights, but the economy's not being stimulated. And then some actually figure out, well, it's because, the population growth isn't as big and it's probably just going into the too bigs to fail. But that's not the whole story. The reason is it's going into the non-producers. If you got a filthy rich bastard, it's even worse going into their hands than some dirt poor slough that doesn't do anything. If you got a filthy rich bastard that's already sitting on, $100 million, and you give him another $100 million, what are they going to do with that money? They might buy another mansion or something. They're not going to go buy new clothes and carpets and what. You're not going to buy stuff that everyday people buy that stimulate the economy. They're going to just buy some big freaking asset someplace, like a Greek island or something out there in the Mediterranean. That's what they do. And that's why it's not stimulating the economy. That's why the velocity of money is way down. If you put the money directly into the middle class, blue collar, real hustlers, the ones that do a lot of stuff with hammers and nails and weed whackers and, power mowers and whatever else is out there, and air nailers. You put it into their hands. For every dollar you put in, it's going to make $10 more in the economy. The velocity of money is going to go astronomically quick. I already know this because they did this back in the country of Austria in one little locality. Now, I'm not saying this is the Austrian School of Economics. It's nothing to do with that. They did this in one little locality, in one little area in the country of Austria in the Great Depression in the 1930s. They made local currencies out of thin air, backed by banknotes, and they issued these local currencies in a ratio of like 10 to 1. But they didn't even have to issue anywhere near as much as they thought, because they put it into the hands of the contractors, the subcontractors, the doers, right? And that money went flying around the economy, and it alleviated the Great Depression in that one area. So, Uncle Sam could relieve this depression real quick, or what we got going on right now, but they are not going to. Because I think what they're doing is they're trying to they're wrecking everything. They're poisoning the people with crappy stuff that they sell. The foods, the genetically modified foods, the artificial benzene emitting products we get, whether it's vinyl or clothing, Even the crap we drink, the plastic cups they sell, made in China, they're stuff in them that cause cancer. You know the deal, right? Anyway, over and out. So just remember that, also that, again, when silver goes up, it's going to get most of its gains on the end. And if you don't sell all of it, fine. It's the one metal that's got permanent usage. It's got a host of medical and biological and antimicrobial and rejuvenating uses, because silver can cause the body to, ionic silver can cause the body to produce stem cells. It's amazing. I don't know why people aren't figuring that one out. You think the woman be out there freaking taking baths in ionic silver with vitamin C and vitamin E in there? They don't do that. They don't even think about that, because they aren't advertised with it enough. Because they'd be 100 years old and be looking like they're 25, right? How would you like that? Experience of a 100-year-old in a 25-year-old body. Yeah, baby, that would be hot. Anyway, over and out.